Picking up where we left off, we had just entered our outcome questions for the fast food restaurant study, and now we're going to move on to the demographics questions. Before we do that, there was a couple things I wanted to comment on in this section. So let's go back here to the outcome questions, and as you can see, there's where we ended up with a purchase question and an amount paid question, a constant sum question. I noticed when I looked at the video in the previous demo that when I clicked here for required, not required, etc., it wasn't showing up on the screen. And I didn't hard require all my outcomes. So I'm going to hard require them. Realize that when you go and you do your own, you'll definitely see not required, soft required, and hard required as options to choose here. I think hard required will show up here. So now I've made both of my questions hard required. I'm not going to make any other changes. I'm going to hit submit. And again, it's updating the survey questions, and it will return us to our task list when that is done. All right, now we've completed that. Let's move on to the demographics questions. Again, these are questions that classify people into demographic categories or other categories that are of interest to you in your study. If we click on that, we will slowly go to the demographics questions page, and it'll pop up here in a minute, I believe. It's taking its sweet time, and I apologize for that. Let's click it one more time and see if we can get there. There we go. Here are the demographics questions. As you'll see, the template for the questions is just the same as it was for the outcomes questions. And as you'll see, we have some default demographics questions already into the system, and you can use them if you want, or you don't have to. We have gender, we have age, we have household size, we have number of kids, we have employment, we have occupation, we have ethnicity, and we have income. And again, you can pick and choose which ones you want. I may choose different ones here for our demo just to show you how to delete questions. But again, you have the options for each question as a question name. You can require them or not require them at various levels. I'm going to soft require these, and you're probably not seeing me choose that right now, but you'll see it come up at the end. I'm going to soft require all of the demographic questions just because we don't want to make people have to answer the demographics questions, but we're going to suggest that they do so we can get as much information as possible. So we'll soft require them as we go down here, and hopefully you'll see soft require come up every time I make that selection. All right, the types of questions are basically the same. Again, you probably don't see this, but I'll name them. There are multiple choice, there are Likert scale, there are constant sum questions, there are numerical questions, there are drop-down box questions, there are multiple response questions, and there are open answers that you can choose as your types of questions. For this, I'm going to limit the number of demographic questions that we have to gender, age. We'll leave those. I think we are going to delete the household size and the number of kids in the household, and we'll even delete the employment question. We'll leave occupation, ethnicity, and income there. So in our study, we're going to have gender, age, occupation, ethnicity, and income as our demographics questions. One other thing is, even though we have classic demographics questions here, you can have other types of classifications questions here. For instance, the number of items someone purchased, or maybe personality types that they have, or any other things that you want to use to classify people, you can enter into the survey here. When you're finished entering all those in, you hit submit, and it uploads it into our survey, as you can see it working now. When it's finished doing that, it will return us to our task list page. As soon as it's done doing that, oh, this is quite compelling to sit here and wait for that to happen. Maybe my computer is running a little slow today, but we'll get there. There we go. All right, we've finished our demographics questions, and next we're going to move into the display background in our next video.